Nightingale immediately grabbed my attention after the Game Awards reveal, not only because it's made by a studio of Bioware veterans, but also because instead of one open world, we saw many very distinct looking areas we can explore alone or with our friends. I was invited to a very special behind the scenes presentation where I learned way more about the brand new realm card system that basically gives us the tools to make our own region to get lost in. Like, I would not be surprised if more games will start using this feature in the future. So I will share everything I learned in this video, talk about extra Nightingale details that were revealed after the new Summer Game Fest trailer, and way more. Thanks to Inflexion Games for sponsoring the video. Check Nightingale out via the special link in the video description. A like would be super appreciated. And let's go. Nightingale is set in a Victorian era inspired alternative history where humans lived together for thousands of years with a special race of magical creatures called the Fae. So these creatures have something called Fae magic, and using this turned the city of Nightingale into a hub for all things sorcery, where special Fae portals could be used to travel to the lands of these magical creatures. And the people who use these portals, we as the player, are called realm walkers. But things then go sideways in 1889 when Earth gets taken over by a deadly miasma, so an unpleasant atmosphere. This also collapsed the portal network, so this left us, the players, stuck in these Fae realms with the goal to survive and get back to the capital city. So that will be our main quest while exploring the open landscapes and maybe seeing remnants of previous realm walker expeditions or special Fae runes. But we can also encounter side quests. We don't have footage of this yet, but there should be NPCs to interact with, and by helping them we can, for example, get schematics for new weapons and gear or crafting materials instead of having to farm for them ourselves. We can also recruit NPCs and then let them live in our homestead that we can build as well, so they can then help us with the production and resource gathering. Now, we should not expect the side missions to be as deep as previous Bioware RPGs, but still having a main goal in finding our way back to Nightingale City and some side content along the way is already a nice twist on the familiar survival genre. There are interesting choices you can make though, for example in the way you interact with different creatures. We see magical boars, giant spiders, creepy harpy monsters. These are like pretty big and can steal items from our camp. We also got the bound enemy faction that will track us down. They have very weird helmets, sometimes made out of wheels and cages. And there should be many variants of this enemy type as well. And as you progress through the game, go through new realms, you will find colossal apex creatures. And they seem to be the true endgame encounters you likely need to take out with multiple players. But again, I mentioned choices because instead of fighting the giant, you can namely also make an offering and then maybe ally with him so he won't be destroying your building, which might be more beneficial. And there will be multiple scenarios like this where you can choose a different approach, although not every creature is open for negotiation. But the cool part is that you also have an impact as to what creatures might appear in the world. So this is where the realm card system comes into play. First, you need to find a realm portal in the open world you're currently exploring, and to activate them we will need realm cards made out of special resources. In the trailer we, for example, see a desert card that can be made with paper, ink, and I'm not sure what the final ingredient is. But yeah, using this card will create a desert world. And again, then you can combine this with special creature cards, so then the monster you select will be waiting for you there in the desert. And there are also realm cards that will be able to change the weather pattern and the resources you might find when going into that realm. But there are multiple layers to this, because some cards have special side effects where you combine them with another card. Like the behavior of the creatures you put in the realm can change because of the biome, or the plants that grow in the area can change depending on the weather. So the idea is really that you have to experiment and see what changes when using different combinations. So mastering this will let you help unlock new realms where you can find new, more special resources, better equipment, etc, etc. Like, the possibilities sound pretty wild, and if done right, this could really mean that you won't run out of things to do for a very long time in Nightingale, which usually does happen relatively fast in a PvE only game. Yes, there's no PvP in Nightingale, and personally I'm completely fine with that. Also worth noting is that some realms you create will stay for a long time, so you can go back and explore them further, while other realms will have limited access, so you can't always go back. When creating a realm, you will not like encounter other players inside that realm, but you can choose to invite a group and then travel through the realms you just created. And the plan is to have somewhere between the 6 to 10 player co-op in the early access period, although things could of course change over the course of development. And again, you can totally play a lot of the content solo and take out the creatures alone with a ranged weapon. But there are also melee weapons. Both playstyles should be viable and you can switch between them easily if you want, with of course a melee weapon being handy against other targets than a ranged weapon. But there's clearly a progression here too. We likely start by crafting a wooden crossbow and then later end up with some real firepower. There should also be magic in the game we can use. We only have seen like a spell so far that can light up a darker area, but there should be combat sorcery as well, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. So next to harvesting trees, ore and plants, we can also craft our own weapons and gear and use enchantments to make them even stronger, which will come in handy to fend off attacking creatures that are aiming to destroy our homestead. Seems like we totally have to defend our creations sometimes too and maybe pause our journey through the open world. And I really liked the footage in the new Summer Game Fest trailer, where we see how our base can change over time. It looks very interesting with a sapling near the end as well. So maybe a hint at vehicles being present in the game. And with the realm cards, you can not only create hostile areas, but also nice locations where you can maybe build your home. And then from there, create new worlds to explore, after which you can come back to your home base. Although again, in the end, we want to reach Nightingale City. Although this will not be the real end of the game. Like once you get to this place, there will be new things and people to interact with. So it just seems to open even more possibilities. Early access is currently planned for the winter of 2022, with a closed beta already in the summer, and an open beta is planned for autumn 2022, if everything of course goes according to plan. And when it launches in early access at the end of the year, it will immediately be the start of the first season, which will add new story content, environments, creatures, resources and more. They're kind of looking at a Destiny post-launch model. The game is currently only planned for PC, it's running on Unreal Engine, and we should get more info during Gamescom, so that's already at the end of August. When we know more, I will of course let you know here, so don't forget to subscribe for more on Nightingale. Totally check the game out via the special link in the video description. A like on the video would be awesome, and totally check out my previous video as well on the more promising looking games that were revealed at Summer Game Fest. You can watch that video by clicking on the screen. For now, I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.